friends, welcome back. Glad you stopped in to talk with me today about some movies. Hope you're doing great. I hope you're striving and thriving in whatever you're doing in life. And let's talk about it. Today we're going to be going over the new movie from Francis Ford Coppola called Megalopolis. This came out just like a week or two ago, 2024 release. And today I'm not going to be holding anything back. I'm not going to be sugarcoating anything. I'm not going to be trying to avoid spoilers. I'm going to be deconstructing this movie in the best way I know how, because I've seen a lot of people talking about it not being very good, about just, different aspects of it, and I wanted to throw my 2 cents in there. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you don't want any spoilers, now would be the time to probably turn the video off, go watch one of my other videos, something like that. But guys, Francis Ford Coppola, the man sold his vineyard. Okay, we're going to talk about what he did to get this produced. If you don't know who Francis Ford Coppola is, Francis Ford Coppola is a legendary director. He gave us Bram Stoker's Dracula. He gave us Apocalypse Now. He's directed some other fine things that I can't remember right off the top of my head. But Francis Ford Coppola was a visionary a long time ago. And I guess technically he still is, because this movie is very ambitious. It's a very much a visionaries type film. He just didn't have the right stuff to make this film accessible to everyone. And so he basically sells off most of his vineyard, because he has his own vineyard, he makes his own wine and stuff. He sells off most of his vineyard to fund making this film. And now this film is a modern day, it's like a neo-Roman period piece. That's the best way I could describe it, is there's a lot of Roman and Greek symbology and symbolism in this. There's a lot of, but there's also a lot of socio-political connotations to the film. When talk about feeding the masses, there's a lot of talk about, you can't help but see him taking jabs at America's own political systems, like Donald Trump and Biden and all those people. Like he really dives into the ethos of American culture, I guess, because if you look at it and see, this is the thing, and it's going to be hard for me to describe this film, because there's a lot going on that he's just not able to capture in a way that makes sense. Because we have a character in Adam Driver's character. So the performances are stellar, especially Shia LaBeouf, Aubrey Plaza, and Adam Driver. All of them, amazing talent. Steal every scene they're in. But we have this story of a guy who finds an element, who finds a building block material of life, space, time, you name it. And he wants to make this utopia. But everybody has to, pitch in. There can't be division among the people. But the ruling classes have to have that division in order to rule properly. At least that's what I took away from it. Now, we have all that going on, but then we also have the political intrigue of Game of Thrones, but not quite as brutal. Okay, we have a lot of, I hate to say it, but there's some incestual stuff going on. There's a lot of inbreeding. There's a lot of interpersonal espionage and stuff like that. It's very complex as far as the content, I guess, of their characters. He tries to build these complex characters. Shia LaBeouf's character, absolutely nuts. Dude's crazy, but I could see him being an absolute player in American politics. Same way with Aubrey Plaza. Her character is insane, but I could absolutely see her being a talk show host today, and what she does behind closed doors. I could totally see that today, guys. There's a lot of modern things that he shows us. It's like, hey guys, This is literally what we're doing today, but he makes an over-the-top version of it. I dug that. I thought that was cool. What I didn't dig was the use of horrible CGI and green screen backgrounds that you could tell were green screen backgrounds. I mean, I've always, if you guys have watched my reviews before, you know that I kind of equate that type of filmmaking to the 1920s, 1930s filmmaking of when they're driving a car and they have that profile shot and you see the background going behind them. That's actually just on a loop and their truck is stationary and the background spinning around, you know. That's how cheap it looks. It looks terrible. And for Francis Ford Coppola to sell his vineyard, to spend all this money to make this film and then to fail. I mean, I hate to say it, but he failed. Because for as much as I enjoyed the performances, as much as I enjoyed his wordplay, I guess, on American culture, current American culture, American politics, all that. As much as I enjoyed his interpretations of all that, I feel that everything that he did in this film never had a point. There never was a point to the actual film. Everything felt rushed. Everything felt incoherent. It felt like a fever dream a lot of the time because, again, we have throwbacks to ancient Rome and the Senate and Colosseums and the games and all this stuff, but we're in modern New York. Like I know what he's trying to say with that about how history repeats itself, how we're living in a time where, you know, this is right before the fall of Rome, we're living in a time such as this that we're gonna be destroyed from within kind of thing by our own people. And I get his messaging, but he has to tell it in a more concise fashion, not some abstract Pablo Picasso filmmaking, right? I don't want an eye up here and a mouth down there. I want something concentric, make sense, make it beautiful. Make it as beautiful as you made this. That's awesome. Just keep the same look, but make your story better, man, because there's no real development. And again, the performances, for as good as they were, it wasn't enough to make up for sloppy filmmaking. And I hate to say sloppy when it comes to Francis Ford Coppola, but it was sloppy filmmaking. The gist of this film, to me, what I took away from this film altogether as a whole, was the message of the film is love the planet and love each other. That's the whole message. And that's an awesome message. That's a great message. Everyone should adhere to that message. Love the planet, love each other. But as far as the way that he tells this story about saving the planet and saving other human beings from the power hungry, from the power monger, saving your fellow man from people with the power that want to just basically use you for fodder. Like, I loved the messaging of that, like I said, but it just wasn't told in a way that was accessible to anyone. I mean, from the opening, I'm watching it from the opening credits, and I knew right from the get-go that I was going to have a hard time following this and understanding this. But at the same time, I feel like this is going to be one of those movies that's either going to be a colossal failure, which right now it's looking like it's a colossal failure. But I feel like it could also be one of those films that in the future, and 15 years from now, 20 years from now, people are going to look back on that movie and go, wow, Coppola, he saw it. He saw it. He knew what was coming. I feel it's going to be one of those two things. And I'm hoping it's the latter. Because, I would hate for Coppola, because let's face it, he's probably not going to make nothing else after this. He's getting up there in age. I mean, I would hate for him to go out on a downer like this, because I really didn't care for Megalopolis. I didn't care for the way it was made. The score, everything was just not there. Nothing fit together. So I'm going to give Megalopolis 2 stars out of 5, guys. I wasn't overly impressed with it, even though I get it. I get what he's trying to say with everything. It just wasn't good. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give it 2 stars. You guys can go check it out in the theater if you want to. You can wait for it at home. It doesn't matter. Either way, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. I was in the I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it. I didn't like it. I just kind of thought that it was kind of bleh. You know, it was very pretentious. It's either going to wind up being a movie that people see as a pretentious vanity project, or it's going to become a cult prophetic classic. Either way, that's it for Megalopolis, guys. Thanks so much for watching. You know, click like and subscribe if you like my videos. And as always, my friends, I am going to keep making them as long as you guys keep watching them. Peace out. God bless. See you soon.